The end of Burger's End. After Grimley's inglorious end, the insidious evil's army had gone through the mines of Steelsmith to escape Tanos's armies and his wrath. The old shafts brought them close to the busy town of Burger's End. Talia and the all-devouring evil's army had left the mines of Steelsmith behind them, far from Tanos and his henchmen. The tunnels brought them close to the city Burger's End, in the Empire's hinterlands. Burger's End was known for its voracious heroes. More specifically, their appetites were wait for it, dairy. They ate so much that the city had to be supplied with food from the surrounding area on a daily basis. True story.
These gluttons are going to be easy. Onwards, creatures of the deviant evil! Give these gourmands their just desserts!
This hasty attack wasn't the best idea, as the what is cannon fodder for evil's creatures all too quickly found out. These well-fed warriors proved to be exceedingly powerful and dismembered the advancing horde with terrifying speed.
That could have gone better.
Naturally, a battle like that can work up an appetite. Luckily, a transport full of food showed up shortly after the clash. The wheels quickly turned in the deceitful evil's evil brain. What if those deliverers were to have an accident on their way to the city, and the city suddenly ran out of food? It giggled a treacherous little giggle. Those wood piles could be used as a roadblock if they were put into motion with a few hefty blows. That would make transporting that food even more difficult.
Okay, then we'll starve the pigs out. A brilliant plan. Do we have to do this? I feel so bad about killing Grimley. I'm surprised. I thought that evil act would finally extinguish the good part of me. I guess I'll just have to put up with you for a while longer.
These schizophrenic monologues are really annoying. They prevent me from saying so much more.
Not the worst thing when I look at the reviews of the last game.
What? How dare you? Talk about cheeky. You haven't heard the last of this. In its boundless genius, the prudent evil had provided Talia with a few gobberbots whose combat strength would prove extremely useful. They were just, wait a minute, where are they?
Yes! They were supposed to be delivered yesterday, but the postman just left a note at the dungeon entrance saying that I wasn't home. I was here the whole time.
Oh, how I'd love to work with professionals. Just once. Professionals. Just once. Take a deep breath. Remember what they taught you. You don't want any more of those electric shocks. Fine. Fine. And so, the bad-tempered evil quickly threw 2 gobberbots into the dungeon. Then it went out to find that postman and beat the living crap out of him.
What can I do for you?
The advance of the homicidal evil's armies had not escaped the voracious heroes of Burger's End in the short pauses between meals. They immediately sent scouts and combat troops out towards the dungeon.
These stuffed pigs will be a piece of cake. We could also deal with them peacefully, couldn't we?
That was a noble thought from the good Talia. But the heroes of Burger's End were not choosy about what they ate, and dark elf fingers were considered a delicacy.
Oh, disgusting! Right, let's roast these pigs. Oh, good call.
The evilness collecting evil had, well, collected evil. Damned adjectives, whatever. It soon had the chance to research gobobots, enabling it to recruit them itself in future. This extremely useful research would equip all normal goblins with a mech, greatly increasing their combat strength.
Ouch! Evil is unstoppable!
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Ouch!
Payday. The first food delivery set out for Burger's End. Of course, the well-prepared and not at all surprised evil would never let it arrive at its destination. The beer-brewing evil could now build a brewery. Alcohol and heavily armed evil creatures. What could go wrong? But apart from that, the brewery was able to brew delicious beer, which the Horde creatures craved. Beer was essential for the Horde, as these stubborn creatures demanded the delicious beverage as soon as they acquired a certain amount of experience and wanted to continue their training beyond a given stage. Actually, that kind of reminds me of my time in the army.
For the absolute evil!
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Ooh! Bye-bye, baby!
The masterful evil had destroyed the delivery without even breaking a sweat. It's payday. A brewery now twinkled and sparkled in the alcohol-dependent evil's dungeon. Yet before that noble drop could be produced for the Horde, a brewing kettle would first need to be erected. Defend the dungeon hut. Scouts informed the highway-robbing evil of another delivery on its way to Burger's End. A satisfying crash and clatter heralded the unapproachable evil's army's destruction of the pixie camp. A wonderful thing, because the sound of their wings reminded me of the mosquitoes that attack me in bed at night, damn things.
Oh, I'm sure we could have come to a peaceful agreement.
Peaceful agreement with something that sounds like a mosquito? Trust me, there's no room for the savage evil never even gave the food delivery a chance. Now, its creatures gorge themselves on the delicacies instead of the heroes in Burger's End. The first brewery was now ready to roll. Soon, a creature of the horde, or a little snot, would here begin to produce the noble brew. Not only was beer essential for powerful horde creatures, it also had a healing effect upon them. If only that would work for me.
Anything that increases the troops' combat strength is great. Go, creatures! Get yourselves drunk!
There are enemies in your dungeon. There are countless spiders pouring out of a room that was accidentally unearthed. Disgusting.
Ooh!
Payday. A delivery carrying a variety of culinary delights was on its way to Burger's End. How sad that it would never reach its goal. There are countless spiders pouring out of a room that was accidentally unearthed. Disgusting. The savage evil never even gave the food delivery a chance. Now, its creatures gorge themselves on the delicacies instead of the heroes in Burger's End. Enemies have entered the dungeon. Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Evil. And stay down! Give me my orders! Hi, baby!
The stagecoach, I mean the food delivery, was on its way to Burger's End. Naturally, it would never reach its goal. Payday.
Ooh, ah.
Enemies have entered the dungeon. The savage evil never even gave the food delivery a chance. Now, its creatures gorge themselves on the delicacies instead of the heroes in Burger's End.
Finally, we should send out a couple of creatures to take advantage of those blockades. Come on!
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Ouch! Finally, we should send out a couple of creatures to take advantage of those blockades. Scouts report a number of deliveries on their way to Burger's End. Okay, creatures? Don't let anything through!
The all-destroying evil had destroyed one of the deliveries to Burger's End.
What's up?
It's payday. These blockades were certain to be very useful to the sneaky evil in clogging access to Burger's End. The masterful evil had stopped all the deliveries from getting through. Terrific! And still these goblins waited to be freed by the completely ignoring them evil. Naturally, it immediately sprang into action.
Take me to the enemy! Ooh! Just wait. Everything evil comes from above.
Enemies have entered the dungeon. These blockades were certain to be very useful to the sneaky evil in clogging access to Burger's End.
Scouts report a number of deliveries on their way to Burger's End. Okay, creatures? Don't let anything through! Finally, we should send out a couple of creatures to take advantage of those blockades.
One of the deliveries to Burger's End met an inglorious end. Heroes are on their way to one of your islands of evilness. The now in a triumphant mood evil had destroyed all the food supplies before they reached Burger's End. You have lost one of your islands of evilness to the enemy. Payday!
Finally, we should send out a couple of creatures to take advantage of those blockades.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Thanos must die! Finally, we should send out a couple of creatures to take advantage of those blockades.
Again, a number of food deliveries were on their way to Burger's End. Naturally, these would never, ever reach their destination. The all-destroying evil had destroyed one of the deliveries to Burger's End.
Give me my orders!
These wood piles close to the entrance to the city could make an excellent blockade. The slow evil quickly began to take advantage of them. The destructive evil's armies had destroyed one of the deliverers. The aimless evil continued to allow the goblins to rot in their prison. Maybe they didn't deserve it, but just the same, they could also prove to be useful soldiers. Enemies have entered the dungeon. The highway robbing evil hadn't even let a crumb roll through to Burger's End. Excellent work. Payday. These wood piles close to the entrance to the city could make an excellent block. Thankful and relieved for the helping hand they received from the massacring evil, the goblins immediately joined its constantly growing army. There are enemies in your dungeon.
To all that is good. We should use the wood piles to close the entrance to Burger's End. More deliveries on their way? Right. Let's take care of them.
Heroes want to attack one of your islands of evilness. The all-destroying evil had destroyed one of the deliveries to Burger's End. The all-destroying evil had destroyed one of the deliveries to Burger's End. An island of evilness is being attacked. These wood piles close to the entrance to the city could make an excellent blockade. The slow evil quickly began to take advantage of them. The now in a triumphant mood evil had destroyed all the food supplies before they reached Burger's End. Enemies have entered the dungeon. It's payday. These blockades were certain to be very useful to the sneaky evil in clogging access to Burger's End.
Of evil! What do you want me to do?
The ambush planning evil had taken advantage of the blockades and thereby significantly restricted the food deliveries to Burger's End. That should make starving the city out child's play.
Excellent! Let's hit the greedy bastards right where it hurts most. In the gonads? In their stomachs. Scouts report a number of deliveries on their way to Burger's End. Okay, creatures? Don't let anything through.
The all-destroying evil had destroyed one of the deliveries to Burger's End. There are enemies in your dungeon. A delivery to Burger's End spontaneously burst into... Burger's End was doomed. The feasting evil's armies had laid low the last of the defenders, and now rampaged through the city, plundering and burning as they went.
Wonderful! Let them burn! Okay, somehow that was extremely evil. I mean, I haven't forgotten that bit about the Dark Elf fingers, but maybe we could have gone about things differently? Just shut up and look at the fire!
Talia sat and surveyed the heartwarming scene. Every now and then one could still hear some screaming in the distance, but they soon ebbed, and there was no sound except the crackling of the fire. Well, aside from the roaring of the vile evil's creatures, of course. Once the plundering and arson had gone on long enough, the hinterland conquering evil's army marched on. The sacrifice pleased the gods.